please welcome Lisa Rosencrans.
Good evening. My name is Lisa Rosencrans, and I'm standing in for Susan Warshaw, who is regrettably unable to attend this evening. I serve as the Executive Vice Chair of the Washington University Alumni Board of Governors, and on behalf of our board and the entire WashU Alumni Association, welcome to the university's annual Founders Day celebration. What a joy it is to celebrate this special university tradition in the company of so many members of our university community. We're so glad you're here. WashU's global community of alumni includes more than 150,000 highly accomplished individuals, many of whom stay closely connected to the university long after they leave campus. We on the Alumni Board of Governors are dedicated to fostering these connections by engaging alumni across the globe through meaningful events and programming. I want to extend my sincere and heartfelt thanks to all my fellow alumni for the many ways you remain engaged with and support WashU. Founders Day is an annual tradition that began in 1953, which marked the centennial of Washington University. Tonight, we have a special opportunity to honor the outstanding achievements of some of our most distinguished community members. Their ingenuity, service, and dedication to the university reflect the high standards of excellence as well as the spirit of generosity that WashU instills in us all. Let us take a moment to congratulate the 2022 Founders Day honorees. Will the honorees please stand? Now, I'd like to introduce Andy Bursky, Chair of Washington University's Board of Trustees. Andy earned his bachelor's and master's degrees in economics and engineering from WashU. As a student, he served as an undergraduate representative on the Board of Trustees. He's the founder, chief executive officer, and chairman of Atlas Holdings, an industrial holding company based in Connecticut. Andy and his wife Jane, who earned her bachelor's degree in French and education from WashU, are dedicated to advancing the university through their leadership and philanthropy. Please join me in welcoming Andy to the podium.
Good evening. Good evening. Thank you, Susan. It's great to be here with you, and on behalf of the university's trustees, we thank all of you for joining us for this very special occasion. I've been asked to keep my remarks brief to leave room for this evening's surprise feature presentation. Andrew Martin interviews John Goodman, the sequel. This evening, it was good. This evening, I'm especially pleased to be in the company of so many of our current and former trustees and their families. Many of us in the room tonight worked together a bit more than 4 years ago to identify and select the 15th Chancellor of Washington University. In full humility, and with the benefit of 3 years of observation, I can tell you with confidence that we did our job extraordinarily well. Chancellor Andrew D. Martin is a superb example of the right person at the right place at the right time. When Andrew appeared on campus as chancellor in late 2019, little did he know the magnitude of unanticipated challenges he would face just months later. As the pandemic hit, Washington University and the medical school faced an unprecedented crisis, as did every other university and medical school across the country and around the globe. The future was uncertain. The path forward had to be constructed on the fly, and the risks were manifest. Those were frightening times indeed. Fast forward 2.5 years. With Andrew at the helm, this university has dramatically outperformed its peers. Andrew and his team made the right calls, protecting the health of our community and sustaining our academic and research missions through the teeth of the storm. We have emerged stronger than ever with an exceptional leadership team, of which many key players were brought on board over the past 2 years. And as a result of extraordinary operational stewardship and remarkable investment performance, we have the financial resources to enable this university to pursue Andrew's broad and bold vision. The future of Washington University has never been brighter, and with Chancellor Martin and his team's leadership and your continued support, I am confident we will accelerate our ascent among the greatest academic and research institutions in the nation and the world. Exceptional vision, capability, energy, and resources create a powerful combination. And Andrew and his team are directing this force at some really incredible initiatives already underway. Here and Next, our strategic plan, developed under the leadership of Provost Beverly Wendland, with constructive input from literally hundreds of voices, has established critical priorities and is already beginning to reshape the university. And to describe the launch of another critical priority, Make Way, our student initiative, it's my honor and pleasure to introduce the 15th Chancellor of Washington University, Andrew D. Martin.
Well, thank you, Andy, for the warm introduction, and if John Goodman pops out of a door somewhere, I'm leaving. It is a pleasure to be here to recognize an outstanding group of WashU citizens and leaders. Before we introduce you to this evening's honorees, I would like to share a few updates. When I was inaugurated as Chancellor in 2019, I promised to improve access to a WashU education for talented students regardless of their backgrounds or previous opportunities. And anyone who's ever met me knows this commitment goes well beyond just getting talented students in the door. Even before our students arrive on campus, we want to do everything we can to ensure they have what they need to succeed and thrive. Last fall, we reached a long-anticipated and momentous milestone when we announced WashU would begin offering need-blind admissions, which means we no longer factor in an applicant's ability to pay when deciding whether to offer them admission. What's more, we committed to meeting students' demonstrated financial need, making it possible for more students from low and middle income families to say yes to WashU. I'm incredibly proud of our new approach to admissions, and the class of 2026, the first class admitted under this new practice, demonstrates what a smart investment we have made. Our first-year students are extremely talented. As high schoolers, they earned high marks in challenging courses. They are all well prepared to succeed here at WashU. 20% of our incoming class of 2026 is Pell Grant eligible, a 15 percentage point increase from just 10 years ago. In addition, 15% of incoming students are their first in their families to attend college, and 51% of our students identify as students of color. As we look to the future, we are dreaming big about how we can invest even more in our students and their educational experience. And just last month, we launched Make Way, our student initiative. Through this bold fundraising initiative, we aim to remove the hurdles that stand in the way of our talented students by collectively investing in undergraduate scholarships, graduate student education, and an exceptional student experience. With support from our entire university community, we'll ensure all students from every background and walk of life feel at home at WashU and have every opportunity to shine and make their unique mark on the world. I invite you to join us in helping to unlock the potential of each and every student who chooses WashU. I am grateful to each of you for your belief in and commitment to WashU and the world-changing work that takes place on our campuses. You all carry WashU out into the world through your own work, and we are tremendously grateful for your partnership. Thank you.
And now, it is my pleasure to begin the introductions of our Founders Day 2022 honorees, starting with the Distinguished Faculty Award. By and large, the faculty at WashU is what makes this institution the distinctive and state-of-the-art educational institution that it is. They are skilled scholars, dedicated educators, and innovative researchers who embody the university's values and advance its mission, all while training future generations of change makers. Tonight, we recognize one of our highly accomplished faculty members with the Distinguished Faculty Award. Recipients of this award conduct groundbreaking research, mentor and support scores of students, and generously offer their expertise to help solve pressing societal challenges. Their influence extends across the WashU community and beyond to the world at large. You can find the biography of this award recipient and all of our honorees in your program. I encourage you to read them at your leisure. We'll turn to the big screens now and see a short video about our first honoree before Chancellor Martin presents the award.
It is a unique honor for me to pay tribute to Tim Eberlein. My late husband, Michael, and I met the Eberleins through our mutual love and support for the arts. We go back many years with Kim and Tim, and I'm proud to call them very dear and special friends.
I have frequently said I have the best job in the world. And the reason is that every day I come to work, I get to witness a miracle. Because almost every day there's a patient who has been told there's no hope for them. In this unique environment with the great leaders that we have in so many disciplines, I frequently get to witness a miracle, that we were able to cure them, that we were able to make them whole. That's a real privilege.
Prime example of a patient's ideal. He certainly has the recognized medical expertise, and added to that, he has the sensitivity, thoughtfulness, and genuine kindness to treat each patient with the unique and individualized attention they deserve. Tim remains approachable, humble, and eager and willing to help anyone in any way.
In my positions, I come in direct contact with many of my colleagues in many departments and programs and schools, etc. It's pretty daunting to be recognized with this kind of an award. So I'm very appreciative, I'm very grateful, I'm very humbled, but I thank the institution.
Please welcome Dr. Timothy J. Eberlein.
Tim, in recognition of your exceptional leadership of the Alvin J. Siteman Cancer Center and the Department of Surgery, your national reputation as a surgeon and scholar, and your role as a highly valued leader in the St. Louis community, I present you with the Distinguished Faculty Award.
Please welcome Amy Eiler.
Good evening. My name is Amy Eiler. I'm professor in the Brown School and chair of the Faculty Senate Council. This year, for the first time, we're recognizing recent recipients of the Arthur Holly Compton Faculty Achievement Award and the Carl and Gertie Corey Faculty Achievement Award during our Founders Day celebration. These honors are among the highest forms of recognition for our faculty members. As a result of the pandemic, the university has yet to had the opportunity to recognize the 2020 and 2021 Corey and Compton Award recipients. We honor them tonight along with the 2022 recipients of these awards. Each year, our faculty nominate their peers for these awards. Then, the Faculty Achievement Awards Advisory Committee makes recommendations to the Chancellor, who then selects the most deserving recipients. These individuals are exemplary scholars, teachers, and mentors who set a high standard for their colleagues across the university. Presented to faculty from the 6 schools on the Danforth campus, the Arthur Holly Compton Faculty Achievement Award is named for Washington University's first Nobel laureate and 9th chancellor. Please turn your attention to the screens to learn about the recipients of the Arthur Holly Compton Faculty Achievement Award.
I've had a lot of roles at Washington University. When I first came, I thought I was going to be, sort of focusing on my research and writing. And I think I was here about a year, and I was asked to chair the Department of History. So I spent 5 years doing that, and then the center directorship opened up. And so when that came open, I applied, and I got that position. And so for 8.5 years, then I directed the Center for the Humanities. It's an interdisciplinary sort of research and teaching center that brings all of the humanities together. I mean, for me, the center has been the place where I found kind of a new me. Because it's a center, I've engaged so many people that if I were sitting over in history teaching African history, I would never have met most of them.
I just was really inspired all the time by how Jean was able to navigate a million different things and make it look effortless. Her ability to really be an innovator while being incredibly pragmatic and strategic was really important for me in learning how to do the kind of public humanities work that I'm interested in doing.
Now that I've stepped down, my appointment is 100% in African and African American studies. Some of the work that I've been able to do here has reconnected me to this city and helped me think about new ways of being in this city and to be a part of struggles to make this town a better place to live.
She's a wonderful scholar, but I do think that she models the public humanities in a way that not only at WashU, but institutions around the country look to as doing really innovative things, and I hope that the university still remembers the lessons she taught us in her time here.
It's cool whenever your work that you've done is recognized by your colleagues. That's like the biggest sort of compliment that you can get. The fact that it's generated by colleagues means an awful lot.
Please welcome Dr. Jean M. Allman.
Jean, in recognition of your outstanding leadership on campus, your innovative scholarship, and your exceptional teaching and mentorship at the undergraduate and graduate levels, I present you with the Arthur Holly Compton Faculty Achievement Award.
Adrian is an inspiring and subversive designer of the possible. I have known Adrian for 20 years, since I was a graduate student, and I can honestly say there's no more influential friend or mentor in my life.
So my area of study is in what one of my colleagues used to call the law of daily life. People hear that I teach law and they think, oh, the action's got to be over there in constitutional law or in criminal law, and that stuff is really, really exciting. But I tell people the action is really in daily life. It's in the law that regulates what people do on a daily basis. Who do they marry? What's the relationship with their children? What happens if your neighbor hits you with their car? What happens when you die? All of those kinds of things, just the dailiness of it. I feel incredibly fortunate to be able to be producing law, producing solutions, thinking about things at this precise moment.
Her numbers seem to be kind of unparalleled in terms of looking at the number of faculty of color that recruited under her tenure. There's probably no one who has been more influential in transforming the conditions for faculty of color and women at this institution in the last decade.
I had the deep fortune to work as a vice provost, reporting to our chief academic officer for 10 years. I got to work for 4 of them. I got to really kind of dig down and understand how the place works and operates. I got to attach myself to the 6 Danforth schools and work really closely with those deans and those faculties and those department chairs and those hiring chairs to figure out, how do we want to do things differently? What are your goals for growing your faculty and making this place as diverse and inclusive as you want it to be? What is your vision and how can I help you? And so I got to do this thing that I'd never gotten to do, which was to kind of be a lawyer consultant to people and help them figure out what they wanted to do, to try to empower them to articulate what their missions were and how we could come up with a set of tactics and strategies to get it done. And they did, and we did, and it was the time of my life.
Please welcome Adrian D. Davis.
Adrian, in recognition of your robust research, scholarship, and teaching, your exceptional service as a university leader, and your great success in advancing diversity and inclusion initiatives across the university, I present you with the Arthur Holly Compton Faculty Achievement Award.
Adia is someone who is at the absolute top of her field professionally. I could go on and on about her accolades, but she's somebody who has won major book awards in our discipline. Her work on race and gender and inequality in the workplace has really set a path and really is the leading work in that field. She's won 2 major career awards from the American Sociological Association. These are awards that typically are just career capstones, and Adia has won them exceptionally early in her career.
So my research focuses on racial and gender inequality in professional occupations, with a particular focus on Black workers in environments where they are underrepresented. So I've studied Black men working as nurses, Black men working as lawyers and doctors, and Black professionals who work in the healthcare industry as well. And the idea behind the research is to try to understand how organizations and workplaces can put barriers in place that impede Black workers' success, but also how they can change those barriers to create more inclusive workplaces.
And so Adia is really the sort of person who can really be a leading academic and an excellent and innovative researcher, but also someone who can speak to various audiences that are really doing things about the issues that she's seeking to engage.
I think the best thing about teaching, at least for me, is seeing students change over the time that I have them. And a lot of that is influenced by what I teach. I teach mostly social theory courses, which are notorious for not being classes that students want to take. They almost always come to class and they're dreading it because they think it's going to be boring and it's going to be archaic and it's going to be a lot of really dense prose that isn't interesting. But I really like the experience of helping them to see that that's not the case and that what we cover in class actually has a lot of relevance to their everyday experiences. So for me, I guess I like the challenge, but I also like the challenge of seeing the growth and the development of students over time.
Please welcome Dr. Adia Harvey Wingfield.
Adia, in recognition of your groundbreaking research, your service as a campus leader, and your tremendous mentorship of your students and junior colleagues, I present you with the Arthur Holly Compton Faculty Achievement Award.
The Carl and Gertie Corey Faculty Achievement Award is granted to our most distinguished faculty on the medical campus. The award is named for the pioneering couple who became the university's 5th and 6th Nobel laureates. Tonight we honor the 2020, 2021, and 2022 recipients of the award. Please turn your attention to the screens to learn more about the recipients of the Carl and Gertie Corey Faculty Achievement Award.
John is an incredibly warm, humble, compassionate, and caring person. He cares deeply about his patients and everybody he works with. He's a joy to be around. He's a lot of fun. He has a lot of interests. He's incredibly curious and really loves doing what he does.
I think the things that draw me to this field is that immunology initially was just evolving. Its role in human disease was just being described in the 50s and 60s and 70s. So I was head of the rheumatology division. We would teach them how to take care of patients with rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, these kind of rheumatic diseases. And so in addition, then we would teach a course. Present time I'm working on, and I have been working on it since the 1970s, is called the human complement system. Well, I like to figure out how things work, you know, and we had very sick people. To be able to find the diagnosis for them and to then give them a treatment, you know, is about as nice as it gets.
He's a really great teacher, he's a wonderful clinician, and an extraordinary scientist. John is probably most proud of his legacy as a mentor and a teacher. He really has dedicated the vast majority of his career to making sure that our trainees and our junior faculty thrive.
We discovered several new diseases, and one of them here is prominent in St. Louis families. We identified it, we thought it was new. The pathologist helped us again. Then to prove that though, you need to find the genetic basis of it. I told her to take the simplest gene, and by gosh, that turned out to be the gene. You don't think much about it because I'm busy working and I like what I do, and I like science, and I like patient care, so being a physician scientist. And so these things, when they happen, or kind of come out of the blue, a surprise, what does it mean to me? It's very nice, you know?
Please welcome Dr. John P. Atkinson.
John, in recognition of your distinguished service as an administrative leader, your transformative research into the nature of the complement system, and your exceptional gifts as a clinician and a teacher, I present you with the Carl and Gertie Corey Faculty Achievement Award.
So I've known Joan for over 15 years, since she approached me about starting to collaborate on research trying to understand risk factors for the development of depression in young children. She's one of those really unique people who is really a stellar researcher who's done groundbreaking work that has changed our understanding of children's mental health.
In following samples from early ages into later childhood and early adulthood, we inadvertently discovered that there was a really powerful effect of the psychosocial environment on how these children were developing, and importantly, how their brains were developing. When I came to WashU, the department was very genetic and biological, and I was an infant preschool psychiatrist interested in caregiver-child relationships, so I really wasn't a very good fit. Then we started following children longitudinally. We started adding brain imaging with my collaborator Deanna Barch, and that gave the program a lot of tailwind and a lot of validity, and I do think it changed people's minds.
She's a fabulous clinician who has developed new and novel ways of treating children with early challenges with depression, and she's just a wonderful mentor and colleague. She has helped so many early career people in the field make the transition to being independent scientists, and she's just been a fabulous colleague.
Receiving the Corey Faculty Achievement Award in many ways is very, very meaningful to me because it's an award from my own institution where people really know me, they know the work that I do, they know the integrity of the work that I do. So in that sense, it's probably a more important award than others one can think of. Very importantly, I want to thank my partner and collaborator Deanna Barch, who I've learned so much from, and it's been such a joy to collaborate with her.
Please welcome Dr. Joan L. Luby.
Joan, in recognition of your groundbreaking research in the area of childhood mental illness, particularly your efforts to understand and develop interventions for childhood depression, and your efforts to train future leaders in developmental neuroscience and child psychopathology, I present you with the Carl and Gertie Corey Faculty Achievement Award.
She's an incredibly supportive person who is also a fabulous scientist, and she's terribly enthusiastic about her science and about helping other people with their science. She's amazingly unselfish.
I consider myself developmental geneticist. My main interest is how embryos develop, starting from a single cell, how they proliferate and how they make decisions to become a neuron or a muscle cell, but also, importantly, how these cells move within the embryo. Being here and having fantastic colleagues and also fantastic infrastructure, we've also become part of undiagnosed diseases network that goes across the entire country with many clinical sites, one of them here at Washington U.
She's made major contributions to our understanding of tissue organization. She was a leader in the zebrafish field of doing genome-wide screens and discovered many important patterning genes. She's pushed the envelope in terms of bringing that zebrafish work to human biology.
Coming here, I saw opportunity of using pluripotent stem cells that can be used to model diseases, to understand aspects of human development, which is otherwise very difficult. I would like to, on the one hand, thank all the members of my department who were my partners. I'm very thankful for their support. And of course, I'm also very indebted to my members of my lab with whom we are doing discoveries together. It's an award that is given by peers, so it is really the most treasured recognition to be recognized by colleagues here at Washington U.
Please welcome Dr. Liliana Solnicka-Krezel.
Leela, in recognition of your path-breaking research, your exemplary service as department chair, and your enthusiastic mentorship of postdoctoral, predoctoral, and undergraduate students, I present you with the Carl and Gertie Corey Faculty Achievement Award.
Washington University strives to create service-minded leaders who apply the skills and knowledge they gain on our campuses to make the world a better place. The diverse and widespread accomplishments of our alumni reflect these values of leadership and service. Around the globe, our graduates make tremendous contributions to society. Tonight, we recognize 4 outstanding alumni for their professional achievements, civic contributions, and dedication to their alma mater by presenting them with the Alumni Association's highest honor. These individuals truly are making a difference in the world, and we are incredibly proud of their affiliation with WashU. Please turn your attention to the big screens to learn about each of our honorees.
John Daines is the quintessential Washington University alum. No matter how preoccupied he might be with other matters, John always has time for Washington University.
Being at WashU, they gave me the confidence to come out here when it was a brand new company, to do things I have done in my career that no one did before. That was all because WashU made me say, you can do that.
Upon graduating in 1968, John began what became a very distinguished business career with the Helm Financial Corporation, the largest independent locomotive and rail car leasing company.
When I got into marketing, I saw right away that they needed some help getting the billing done quicker. So I learned to code a computer, and I took 2 weeks off of billing to the customer. And that's a huge amount for a place to go.
In 1970, Stephanie and John made their first gift to Washington University, and not a beat has been missed since.
Philanthropy has always been important to us, to both Stephanie and me. We had no children. The Daines Student Success Fund, it helps people do things that are unexpected, or someone is sick in the family and they have to go home. We can pay for that out of that success fund. I wanted students to have extracurricular activities, to be part of their life at WashU, and not to think just because they're a scholarship student or something like that, those people should be able to be part of WashU just the same as anyone else.
Please welcome John Daines.
John, in recognition of your exceptional service as a volunteer leader, your generous support of WashU and its students, and your accomplishments in the business arena, I present you with the Distinguished Alumni Award.
Well, I know Carrie as a distinguished alumni, but I first met her in San Francisco at a coffee shop. When I met her, there was just kind of this immediate, palpable energy that she had, and we really connected well together.
Part of the reason why I wanted to become an architect was not only was I good at mathematics and I loved art, my mom was doing volunteer work for a fair housing committee or entity, and she would take me around Maryland and go to open houses. However, I was beginning to observe and notice that there was a difference in the architecture, not only the size, but the quality of the homes in more affluent areas versus non-affluent areas. And for me, that then became a question. Why is that? To me, that's unacceptable, because good design should exist everywhere, and it should not be tied to or limited by what your means are.
Carrie is receiving this award for her distinguished service to the profession, her own amazing career, and for her willingness and dedication to giving back to the design community as well as to our students here at the Sam Fox School.
I would like current WashU students to leave with a sense and a notion and a plan for responsibility and for taking action, to make some differences here, to stand up and engage. I really hope that students now have hope and can see there are many, many possibilities and ways of making a difference in this world, because we have a number of issues that it's going to take a lot of time and we need a lot of people to address.
Please welcome Carrie A. Johnson.
Carrie, in recognition of your professional contributions in the realm of design and architecture, your outstanding service as a volunteer leader, and your engagement in social activism, I present you with the Distinguished Alumni Award.
Laurie is a brilliant person by herself. She would have got prepared at any school she would have gone to. And she worked in Dean Virgil's office. That was an exceptional achievement because Bob would not take just about anyone.
I grew up in Missouri, and it was a natural place for me to attend school. And I had a lovely experience there, and it's been truly foundational. Beyond just the problem solving and analytics and all the things you're exposed to, it was such a diverse group of people that I got to interact with. And so instilling in me the skills of networking and collaboration and all of those things I experienced at WashU, and all of those things turned out to be instrumental.
If I had to describe Laurie in 3 words, I would say globalist, brilliant, and compassionate. She is a CEO of a major operation in Latin America. That means that she understands not just the technology, but the communication, the customer, the cultures, the need. A globalist is not necessarily somebody who hops on a plane, but is a person who understands the global population and its need and demands.
You know, AT&T is all about connecting people. And I think I've been really blessed to have been a part of a number of initiatives. I've always believed in, as you have a hand up, you should have a hand back. And when I mentor people in our company and in my community, I often use that phrase. And so I need to practice that, and I try to practice that. WashU has been so instrumental into my life and experience that I want to help make sure everybody gets an opportunity, if they can, to have that same benefit.
Please welcome Lori M. Lee.
Lori, in recognition of your global leadership in marketing and strategy, as well as your long-standing service and generosity to WashU, I present you with the Distinguished Alumni Award.
She's a visionary with a generous spirit and a kind soul. I've known Shirley personally since 1996. I met her when I was coming to interview for the PhD program in movement science. Shirley was the director of that program at the time, and she's actually the reason I decided to take the plunge and come here to St. Louis. She was so down to earth, even though she was so incredibly famous. I knew of her from her Sarman exercises, which I was taught as a physical therapy student.
The program in physical therapy is an amazing program that's really setting the standard for much of the profession. I really did want to help people, as tried as that sound. And also, I am so old that I actually saw polio patients. The vaccine came in while I was in school. But then they started saving the lives of people who had spinal cord injuries, head injuries. The big problem with this is we didn't understand the paralysis. In some ways, that sort of started me on a quest of trying to figure out what was going on.
She's had such a profound impact on Washington University in St. Louis through her work with the program, through education, research, and clinical practice. Shirley's legacy is enormous. I think it touches everywhere on the globe, really, in terms of the impact that she's had on the way that people practice physical therapy. And she's also just had such a profound impact on the profession that there's really no one who compares to her.
You know, I've always felt that I've been so rewarded for my life when I've had so much fun doing it. I've been so blessed with everything. And then to have the university say, gosh, and we're going to give you the Alumni Award. I actually got the Distinguished Faculty Award. I'm just delighted, surprised, and couldn't be happier.
Please welcome Dr. Shirley A. Sarman.
Shirley, in recognition of your pioneering achievements in establishing the field of movement science and your tremendous leadership in the physical therapy world, I present you with the Distinguished Alumni Award.
We'll close this evening's ceremony with the presentation of the Robert S. Brookings Award. The Brookings Award is named after an exceptionally generous individual who played an essential role in the development of Washington University. After establishing himself as a successful business leader, he invested much of his personal fortune into the university and served as president of the Washington University Board of Trustees from 1895 to 1928. He spearheaded efforts to secure funds for the land where the Danforth campus is now located, and he helped establish the medical school as one of the world's finest. Robert S. Brookings laid the foundation for the university as we know it today. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I'm tremendously pleased to present the Robert S. Brookings Award to a couple and an individual who carry on his powerful legacy, David and Dottie Kemper and Joanne Knight. Now please turn to the screens to learn more about the recipients of the Robert S. Brookings Award.
Through their family foundation and as individuals, the Kemper family has a long history of involvement with WashU. Their philanthropy has helped enhance the facilities and reputation of the Mildred Lane Kemper Art Museum as one of the finest teaching museums in the country.
The Kempers are great champions of this important work, and I so appreciate their insights, partnership, and support. David and Dottie are among the university's most generous benefactors, and David is one of the university's most dedicated volunteer leaders.
Arts and higher education have been a passion of myself and our family for many years. I remember Bill Danforth described the great research universities in our country as the cathedrals of the Middle Ages, of Mont Saint-Michel and Chartres. And I think it is really the highest way that the private philanthropy can come together and support science, the humanities, all the wonderful kinds of things of our civilization. And arts is part of that. And we're very lucky at Washington University to have one of the great university and really one of the great art collections in the country. So it's just, and it reflects the history of St. Louis and this university.
The Kempers believe in WashU as much as they believe in St. Louis. They see the important role the university plays in the community and have given generously in every way for decades to help elevate WashU and St. Louis.
David is an embodiment of the spirit of arts and sciences in so many ways. He's known as a business leader, but he also cares deeply about the arts, humanities, and sciences.
I tend to shy away from awards, but I'm very flattered to receive the Brookings Award because the university has been a big part of my life and the people I've met and what we've accomplished. I'm very proud of it. I'm very humbled by being part of it. And I think one of our big jobs is, as trustees, people who've been involved, is to pass it on to the next generation to hold that kind of vision. So I'm working very hard now with, I've got a new generation in my family, as everybody does in this community, to continue to make St. Louis move forward, and St. Louis moves as Washington University moves, and vice versa. So it's just been a wonderful undertaking for me.
Please welcome David and Dorothy Kemper.
David and Dottie, in recognition of your long-standing support and extraordinary commitment to Washington University, I present you with the Robert S. Brookings Award. From your generous philanthropic support to the vital role David has played as a member of the university's Board of Trustees, your contributions have helped strengthen the university's role in our community and our world. Your family has made a lasting mark here at WashU, and your aspirations for the university have helped us become an institution that takes seriously our role not only in St. Louis, but also for St. Louis. Congratulations.
Okay, don't get nervous. We're almost done here. And they said for you to be brief. On my memo, it said to be very brief, so I will be. Dottie's and my relationship with Washington University over the last 34 years has been a very positive one. It's really been a joy to watch one of the great global research universities grow and thrive. I had the privilege of coming on the board in 1988, and I worked with Bill Danforth for 7 years before he retired. Bill remained a role model and mentor to me and was one of our country's great public servants. I then really grew up with Mark Wrighton for his 24-year-old tenure. In fact, Mark told me he was the only boss he'd ever had who was younger than he was. And I really greatly admired Mark's brilliant mind and extraordinary work ethic as the undergraduate program continued to blossom. It was a great privilege to chair the board and to work closely with Mark on such projects as our East End expansion. We now have a young, inspiring, and decisive new chancellor in Andrew Martin. I'm very pleased that Andrew and our new strategic plan has emphasized the importance of the relationship our university has with the greater St. Louis community. We all know we've got a world-class university which is flourishing. It can provide essential leadership both in our global objectives of research and education and in attracting the best people to help the St. Louis community prosper. So I look forward to continuing to work with you, Andrew, and everybody in this room, both for the university and for St. Louis. So thank you.
Joanne Knight's commitment to Washington University and our School of Medicine are phenomenal. Joanne has been a pillar of support and encouragement for many of us, including myself and our research on Alzheimer's disease.
The work being done in AD at our school is simply breathtaking and ever so close to several new approaches that have the potential to mitigate this disease that has devastated many of our families.
My mother was diagnosed with, well, my mother they thought had Alzheimer's back in the early 80s. I immediately turned to the Alzheimer's Association because I knew they were so supportive, and I was on the advisory board, and John Morris was also on the advisory board. Chuck helped me with the Alzheimer's Association. We tried to create awareness of the association. He saw John at one of the events we were hosting, and he said, you know, John Morris really knows what he's talking about. I want us to go down there and talk to him. So I said, sure. I mean, I knew I wanted to do that anyway. I was just waiting for him to do it. And we went down there, and John presented to us all the information they knew about Alzheimer's disease and the research they were doing. Chuck said, well, what more can I do, John? It looks like you're really going to solve this problem. And he said, you can endow it. And he said, and that would mean we'd put your name on it. So we did that.
Joanne more than deserves this tremendous award. She has been such a supporter, not only of the Knight Alzheimer's Disease Research Center, but the entire university. And she really, I think, will be a shining example of how people can really make a huge difference.
That's very exciting to me. I do want to do something about Alzheimer's, because after all of that, Chuck got it. Alzheimer's is something that I really dislike, and I am really anxious to be at the forefront to hopefully do something about it. I am very honored to be awarded the Brookings Award. I don't need awards for what I do, but it's very flattering and charming, and I love it. I think the greatest thing is about it, it brings attention to what I'm involved in, and that's the important part.
Please welcome Joanne Knight.
Joanne, in recognition of your enduring friendship toward Washington University and its leaders, as well as your unrivaled belief in and support of path-breaking Alzheimer's disease research at the university, I present you with the Robert S. Brookings Award. We are grateful for your and your family's tremendous support for Olin Business School and the School of Medicine. You are a strong advocate for our physicians and scientists who fight to cure devastating diseases such as Alzheimer's and cancer, and your dedication to patients and families dealing with Alzheimer's extends well beyond our campuses. At Washington University, your name will forever be tied to the fight against this devastating disease. Through your generous philanthropy and tireless advocacy, you have earned the admiration of our entire university community. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I'm very honored to receive this award. Last but not least, I'm up here to say I have found it my mission to fight Alzheimer's disease. It's been big in my family, and I know that bringing this recognition, attention to the disease, Chuck would be so happy that we have continued to do what we started. Thank you so much.
Thank you again for joining us for this special celebration. It is a tremendous privilege to gather with so many of the university's closest friends and most dedicated alumni to celebrate the wonderful accomplishments of tonight's honorees. As we bring the ceremony to a close, I want to say how incredibly proud I am of this university and our long-standing commitment to act in service of truth through the formation of leaders, the discovery of knowledge, and the treatment of patients for the betterment of our region, our nation, and our world. In 1853, our founders certainly could not have imagined the world we're living in today. And yet they gave us a reliable roadmap when they claimed the motto, Per Veritatem Vi, or strength through truth. When the challenges of our world feel overwhelmingly complex, we can take hope in the simplicity of this calling and in the collective power of a community aligned in the pursuit of truth. And as we look with clear eyes at the opportunities before us, I have no doubt that we are positioned to take our impact to the next level. We are ready to invest more than ever before in our people and our communities. We are resolved to reject obstacles that stand in the way of solutions. And we celebrate tonight in the same spirit that our founders must have done in 1853, hopeful, resolute, and ready to work. As we celebrate the achievements of all of tonight's award winners, may we be inspired to build our own WashU legacies through investment in a new generation to follow where they have led and beyond. And on that note, it's time for the party. Please join us in the midway for the reception where you can enjoy dinner, live music, and cocktails. Thank you all so much for being here tonight.